Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to V Rising. So in this video, we're going to cover a bunch of beginner tips that I wish I knew and that might help you if you're deciding to play this game. So let's just go ahead and jump into it, right? As we can see right here, the sun is rising. Obviously, we are a vampire. We don't like the sun, so we need to avoid it. You can see here, the game does a really good job of having a lot of shadows around, and it doesn't matter how big or small the shadow is. A lot of the times, one small little shadow can protect you from the sun. You can see right here, let's just get behind this rock, boom, we're protected from the sun. So one of the reasons I want to tell you guys this is that you don't really have to be afraid to go out during the daytime. A lot of the stuff you can go out and do, harvesting resources, hunting down the bosses is a really good way to get them, because what you're going to do is locate them during the daytime and then try to fight them at night when you can be at max capacity and not have to worry about trying to dip out of the sunlight. And a lot of times, some of the bosses are a little bit difficult to find. You see this trail that we have here, this red trail, that kind of does a okay job of guiding you which way to go, but it doesn't exactly tell you where to go, exactly where the boss is. And some of the bosses will be moving around. But one of the things right here, like I said, is just getting out of the sunlight. You'll be able to dip and dive through the sunlight. You won't really take any damage until it gets really severe. So you can see you have about a good 5 seconds to find some shade. And one of your first abilities is going to be like a dash attack, and you can use that to jump from shade to shade. So we'll kind of give you guys an example of it right here. So we can see some sunlight. You can go ahead and dash forward like that, and then it'll give you a little bit of a chance to go a little bit further from sunlight to, or from shade to shade rather. So that's one little thing right there. Another thing, you're going to get this wolf form after you defeat the first boss. And it's going to increase your running speed, your movement speed. But another thing it does is it makes animals neutral towards you. So animals will not be aggressive towards you. If you're in your vampire form, wolves and stuff like that, some of the other animals will be aggressive to you. But if you're in a wolf form, the other animals aren't going to attack you, which is super good, super cool. So not only does it increase your movement speed, but you don't have to worry about certain animals attacking you when you're just trying to run around or locate a boss or go farm some resources and stuff. It will break once you take damage, but not the biggest deal in the world. And one of the other things we're going to talk about here is resources. So this game is resource heavy. You're going to need a lot of resources for building, for crafting gear, for crafting weapons, everything like that. And staying out of the sunlight is going to be relatively difficult, especially in your base when you are trying to craft, because you're not going to have a roof. You don't get a roof until you start building your castle pieces. So one of the things that you can actually build, we go here, is these mist braziers right here. So you can see these, it only takes 120 stone, which is relatively cheap to craft. And what you want to do is go ahead and place a bunch of these in your base, and I'll show you guys once we get back to my base here. But they're going to take bones, so the more bones you have, the easier it is going to be able to keep these going. So to get bones, a really good place is when you first come out of the starting area right here. You can see where we're at on the map. This little area right over here to the left is where you start. You'll come into Farbane Woods. There's a cemetery right here, and there's a lot of bones and stuff that you can get from the skeletons here. Stone, bone, all this stuff, and even the rotting ghouls will drop it. But not only the mobs, but you see a lot of headstones here. You can go ahead and bust up all these headstones. You can get rats and bones and stone, all from the headstones themselves. So it's a really good, easy way to get some good resources, bones, stones, and rats and everything. And the rats you can use to make your vermin salve right here, which is going to be a healing potion, basically. Super good to use early on when you're fighting, when you're just getting used to the combat and stuff like that. But come down here to this little cemetery right here, and you can just stack up on a ton of resources. One other little thing that I figured out, and it helped me out. So when you're attacking, I'm always just a clicker. I'll sit there and constantly click the mouse. But when you're fighting, you can literally just hold down the mouse and he'll go through the combo. The 3-hit combo here. So just hold down your mouse instead of constantly clicking. Save yourself some mouse time. So alright, we're going to head back to the base. I'm going to talk about some of the other tips that I have for you guys. Alright, so we're over here near my base, and one thing I want to point out too is the teleporters. There's teleporters all across the map, and you can see them right here. They're identified by these, the vampire way gates rather. You can see they're identified by these green images right here. These are super useful, so if you're super far away, or you need to go somewhere far away, you can go ahead and teleport. The caveat to that is a lot of the resources that you actually have, you can see right here, copper ore cannot be teleported. A lot of the stuff you cannot, that you need cannot be teleported. So a lot of times it's going to be a one-way trip to where if you're trying to get out there, either you have to drop all the stuff that you go out and get, or you just have to use it as a way to get out there. So you can go from a teleport. So if you're thinking about base building, obviously you are, location is going to be important. So build somewhere close to these teleporters, and that way it'll make your trip a little bit shorter. That way you can just get out there quickly, and then you'll have to run back with all your resources. All right, so one little tip on the harvesting here. So you can see right here, we have, this is a sulfur node. This is a copper node. When you're first starting out, your gear has to be a certain level to harvest these nodes. So when you're first starting out, you're only really going to be able to craft or harvest the stone nodes. See if there's any around over here. And so you will craft axes right here for the wood. Now you don't have to use your axe and your hammer, and then you'll have a hammer or a mace to craft or to harvest these. You don't need to do that. If you have a weapon that's a higher level, like say your sword or your spear, go ahead and use that, and you can use that to harvest wood and stone as well. So if you don't have a hammer or an axe that's high enough level to harvest that stuff, go ahead and use whatever is a higher level, because it's not required to use the axe and the hammer. All right, so here we are back in my base, and I wanted to, like I said, talk about the mist brazier right here. So you can see right here, it's going to take bone. What this does is actually provide a shade, a mist covering that will prevent the sun from touching you. So when you're in your base and you're doing some crafting, building some stuff, or just building your walls up and everything, go ahead and craft a couple of these. Like I said, it's only 120 stone, and it's going to cover basically a whole area. So what you can do, if you get a room like this size or something like that, go ahead and put it in the middle, and you'll be able to travel around that whole area around the mist brazier safely without getting attacked by the sun. And then if you're still in your base during nighttime, go ahead and turn it off. That way you're not wasting your bones. All right, so next up we've got, you're going to come across a lot of these little bandit camps that have humans over here. A good way to get resources and armor and weapons is to go in here and clear these guys out. A lot of the times the enemies in here will drop weapons or armor that may be better than what you need. Or maybe better than what you have, rather. And they're really not too hard. The farther out you go, the harder the enemies are going to get. As you can see, we're getting our butts kicked a little bit here. But that's going to bring me to another thing that I wanted to talk about. So your blood quality changes with each time you feed. So when you start seeing your blood get a little bit lower, you can see the quality is 19%. If your blood's getting low, just go ahead and feed on the next enemy you can get. You'll lose your bonuses, but you won't die. So go ahead and hit feed right there. So now we're actually going to increase our blood quality, and we're going to refill our blood here, which is important for a few reasons. One of the reasons is right here. One of your skills is going to be blood mend. You can use this to heal. So you can see our health is a little bit low, and our max health is pretty low too. So we're going to go ahead and use blood mend right here. And you'll see, don't do this in combat, but we're going to go ahead and start increasing our max health, and it's going to refill our health as well. You go ahead and do that, and you'll see that's going to be using your blood to heal yourself. So this is really something that you only want to use maybe after a big battle or something like that, or if you're getting ready to go into a big battle and you're a little beat up, go ahead and make sure you're healed up all the way. Now our blood is a little bit low, but you can see our health is just about maxed out. So you can see here, now we've got some bone and some crude miststone, and you can break all these boxes and everything too, and you'll pick up different resources as well. Basically, just go in here and destroy their camp. You'll find some chests. There are some ornate chests you'll see right here that are going to have better stuff inside of them. So we got some more bone, which is really good. So now you have to hold to unlock this one. You can see this is a more fancy chest here. Now we've got morning lily seeds, snowflower seeds. This is when you get into the gardening. You can start planting your own crops, basically. So we need to get rid of some stuff here. So the camps and the mobs are a really good way to get better gear. One of the other things you'll see as you're running around on the map too, a lot of players just go through and they'll kill a lot of the enemies and mobs around and just leave the resources there. When you're first starting out and you see a bunch of resources laying on the ground, go ahead and pick them up. That saves you time from having to go get them. You'll see lumber, stone, bone, animal hide, leather, a lot of stuff that people leave behind, and that's just free resources, because like I said, this game is resource heavy and the crafting is pretty expensive. So anytime you get a chance to basically just be walking by free resources, go ahead and get them. All right, so once you start getting a bigger castle build here, you're gonna have a lot of resources, like I said, and you can actually label your chests, which I didn't know first off. So it's a really easy way to sort your inventory. You're going to go up here, click the little pencil up here, and then you can just name it whatever you want. Super useful. And one other thing too is once you start getting all these crafting machines here, throw your resources in, and they're just going to go ahead and work for you while you're not here. And that goes for when you leave the game as well. When you're not in the game, time doesn't stop for you. So it's not like you'll save the game and then come back in at a later time. The servers are basically live, so when you log off and come back in, all of this stuff will still sit there and keep crafting. So it'll start breaking down these wood planks, or the lumber here, into the wood planks for us. So if you're going to log off for a while, go ahead and load up all your crafting stations. You'll come back to a lot of resources that are very useful for you. Go get those going. And one last thing, you'll notice at nighttime right now, you see up here on the map it's blue. A lot of times, I think it's like every 5 to 7 days, you'll see it red up here. That's going to indicate a blood moon. Now the blood moon is going to give you a buff, and this is why I recommend going after the bosses, especially during a blood moon, because the buff is going to boost the effects of your current blood type by 20% and increases movement speed by 10% as well, or 110%. I believe. So take advantage of the blood moon. If you're having a difficult time fighting a boss, wait till a blood moon, go ahead and get up your gear and everything like that, and go fight them after that. So that's all we got for this video real quick. Just wanted to cover a bunch of tips that I wish I knew ahead of time, and maybe they'll help you out. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We'd love to have you join the community. Link in the description to join the Discord. With that being said, everybody, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, stay original, my friends. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Later.